Hey everyone. This is Reverend Dr. Katie, and with me is my wonderful friend and colleague, Amy Renee.
Hello.
Hey! And we are here today to share with many, many groups some shared experiences that we've had, and Amy and I were able to come together in all these kind of magical ways and wanted to tell you a little bit about that. And she's a shamanic practitioner. I am a biblical scholar and a pastor, and so here we are together. And Amy, that's my introduction. Amy, I've kind of introduced you, but let me turn it over to you. Maybe you'd like to introduce yourself too.
Definitely I've had the shamanic path come into my life, and it feels important to share that. To me, that means that someone that's of service, someone who kind of works with both the seen world and the unseen world in ways, and for the betterment of life. Like, that's really why I'm here, just to do the best I can with this life that I've been given. And some of my experiences have led me to have the call to share with others what has entered my path and my awareness. And of course, we connected. Mount Shasta has been a big piece of that for us. So
let's talk about that. And Amy was kind enough to tell me about some of her shamanic journey, and even shared a little bit of like shamanic practice with me. And it was so amazing, and she has so much energy and going on. And yeah, we've been able to connect on lots of different levels. It's been so much fun. And one of the things that brought us together were these shared mountain experiences. And she just mentioned Mount Shasta. And I happen to live not too far from Mount Shasta, about 2.5 hours away. So I think you were probably on Mount Shasta when I was not too far away. We just didn't know each other. And yeah. Oh my gosh, tell us about that experience.
Okay, so I want to leave some of it because we do have an event that's going to be coming up soon. So I want to leave some of that for those that might be joining for that. But so my shamanic apprenticeship was a year-long apprenticeship. And towards the end of that, one of the things that we were required to do is to go on a Pakawachu, which is like a vision quest to a mountain. And Mount Shasta immediately spoke to me in the very beginning. And so life took place the way it took place. And I had roughly about a month actually to a freedom to just allow that whole place, that trip to take place. And so heading up to Mount Shasta, I was passing mile marker 222, and that's a very kind of profound number for me. I actually just did a podcast last week, and it was episode 222. So it's just really ironic how like this shows up. Spirit works with us in the way Spirit does, and the insight that came to me through me has shifted my life in so many amazing ways. And I know without a doubt that's something I meant to share with others. So I'm really, really grateful for our connection, because you had shared with me that a little bit about your experience. And I know that my experience on the mountain, like, it was magic. Like, I don't know if others out there have experienced synchronicities or just this heart-opening experience, just this pure love, pure joy. Like, it was almost like heaven on earth. Like, that's how I described my Mount Shasta experience, was heaven on earth. I had found it. I had discovered it. So.
Oh, I love that. And yeah, so I live not too far from Mount Shasta, but I've lived not too far from Mount Shasta for 6 years, and it took me that long to actually go there. So I went there last year on the anniversary of my ordination. Like, I took the whole day off, and then I hiked it. The elevation's really, it's where you start hiking is already at 6,000 feet. By the time I finished, it was, 8,000 feet. So the mountain makes you work a little bit for your experience, and that's, but there's so much energy there. It's a sacred site in the region, and lots of stories and lots of, just lots of energy coming out there. So yeah, it was like the perfect way to honor that anniversary for me.
I love it. What I found fascinating is, so I live in the Midwest, the heartland, so to speak. So it was a couple day drive for me to make my way there. Mm-hmm. And after coming back home, I discovered that is considered the root chakra of the earth. And I just thought that was just really cool. So just so many blessings with that.
So you got to get grounded for sure.
Right. Each experience, because I've been called to go back there a couple times now. This is really interesting. And each time I've been there, it's been a completely different experience. And actually, so I had signed up for a spiritual business boot camp one of the times that I was there. And like the clock was 11:11, and I had just had this another magical experience that morning of when I woke up, when I woke up, it was before the sun was rising. And as the sun started to rise, it was almost like the ground was spider webs, like this just connection piece that was taking place. I was like, I know they're not spider webs on the ground, but that's what it looked like. And it was just really, really cool. It's like the webbing of life, how we're all connected, how everyone's connected.
Yeah, and no coincidences. Yeah, we're all brought here and connected for reasons. And yeah, I love that. So one of the things that you had shared with me was just a little bit like some insights you had about the 10 Commandments while you were there. And, as a biblical scholar, this of course interests me. My ears perked up right away. And I know a lot of people that I work with have questions and curiosity about the 10 Commandments, and they're referenced a lot, but we actually don't explore them that much, which is kind of interesting to me, just as a society. So yeah, would you be willing to share just a little bit about that, your experience?
Yeah, absolutely. And so exploring them is really a big piece of that. And what came through is the way that I had been taught the 10 Commandments was not how they originally were meant to be received. And what I'd like to share about that is that the point of focus, of where the focus is, like thou shalt not lie, we're focusing on the lying piece versus the being truthful piece. And when we're able to really dive in deep to, it's kind of like, this is what comes up for me. If you've ever played that game when you were a kid where you whisper something in someone's ear and it like goes down the line, each person whispers something, like by the time it gets to that last person, like it's a completely different sentence than what's been shared. And it feels like that's kind of perhaps what's taken place. So, so I'm excited to share a little bit more about that when in our live, what we're doing here pretty soon.
That's cool. And one of the things about mountains too in the Bible, of course, the 10 Commandments are received on a mountain, and mountains pop up throughout Scripture. And then Jesus actually reinterprets the 10 Commandments on a mountain in the Sermon on the Mount. He interprets them for the people on his day. And so we have this real connection with like mountains and the 10 Commandments. And so often I see the 10 Commandments used as kind of a way to shame people instead of to lift people up. I know that's what, like, I'm interested in lifting people up. Like Scripture should be life affirming, not this weapon. And so, yeah, so it's really exciting to me. So I love to hear people's experiences with all, with mountains, with the 10 Commandments, with all of it.
Yeah, so I'm really intrigued. I look forward to learning more about that part of Jesus and him going into the 10 Commandments, because that's something I was never even aware of. I know for me, Moses has shown up in my life in different ways, and I know that the mountain's a big part of the Moses story too. So guiding people to receive what's meant for them, we're going to offer, we have a journey plan for those who participate. And so each of us receives what's needed for us. And so I really look forward to providing a safe place and container to explore these 10 commandments a bit deeper and learn from you, like what your experience and what your knowledge is from them.
Yes, and I can't wait to learn from you about like how to engage these different shamanic practices. It's going to be really, really exciting. Yes, it's going to be really fun. Okay, so let's give people the nuts and the bolts about when and what it is that we have in store. So this is, y'all, like when Amy and I got together, we really got on the phone to talk about like mountains and shamanism and Christianity. And we didn't know that all of this would occur. So like, we're really excited to be able to share this. So Spirit brought us together.
100%. It's so funny because like we had planned to do a Facebook Live about the different pieces that had, shown to me about Moses. And it was like, I was sick. And then from that conversation of now's not the time, like this event came to life.
Yeah. So we rolled with it.
Yeah. Would you like to share the name of it, what we're calling it?
Yeah. So it's called On the Mountaintop, because Mountaintop Experiences are something that like any Christian kid who's ever been to camp talks about. They come home and have had this mountaintop experience. But we want to talk about like how to create mountaintop experiences all throughout our life, not just 1 or 2 days or 1 or 2 weeks out of the year.
Absolutely. So we are holding this on April 20th. It's a Saturday. And so it's 10 a.m. Pacific time, 11 a.m. Mountain time, noon Central, or 1 p.m. Eastern. So
I feel like the Mountain Time people, you guys should really get in on this just because there's a synchronicity with your time zone.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love it.
Great. Yeah. So on that day, I'll be sharing some about the Bible, about the 10 Commandments, like universal and original meanings of the 10 Commandments, and even take people a little bit on a journey. We'll have some guided meditation. Amy's going to be there with her shamanic practices.
Exploring the energy of the 10 Commandments. That's a big piece of it.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. So we're super excited. I put the link in on, for my people, you'll see the link up at the top. And then I'll put that in the comments too. So yeah, we're taking signups now.
Nice.
If for any reason people want to attend, but you know that time doesn't work for you, we will be recording it. So you'll be able to access the recording. And so that's no problem if you're busy on that Saturday where you are. You'll still be able to participate. The energy will still be there.
Absolutely. I think that's such a huge thing is because I don't know how many times I've felt called to attend something and it wasn't, the time just wasn't right for me. And so the opportunity that even if someone can't show up, that they can still receive the recording and reach out to us, ask questions, or if you have comments on your own, like definitely that feels to be a very valuable piece in this because we're all in this together and we each hold key pieces for one another. And that's just such a beautiful, beautiful thing to know.
And I love these events because you never know what someone else will have a piece of the puzzle that answers your question.
Yep.
And I love that. So you just never know what you're going to find. It's not only about like what Amy and I just shared, which we'll definitely enter, but other people might have answers to things that you didn't even know you were asking, which I love. I checked with my group. I don't see any questions. I see a lot of highs and a lot of likes and a lot of hearts that have flown by, which is really good. It's good to see y'all. If you do have any questions, now is the time. Type them in so we can answer real quick. I don't see any though. Yeah. All right. Can you think of anything else?
Just bless you all for being on your path, where you're at, wherever that may be. Just know that that's divine. That's perfect timing, and embrace where you are.
Oh, I love that. That's a beautiful blessing for us to take with us. Oh, great. Well, blessings to everyone. Blessings to you, Amy. And I'm really excited.
Thank you, Katie, so much. We look forward to those of you who decide to join us. So
cool. All right, everyone. Yeah, if you have any questions, you know how to reach out. So reach out to us and we would love to be able to answer them.
Absolutely.
Bye, everyone.